And this leads to some examples of clearly defined team agreements. And I'll just leave this out here. These are just a couple of examples. But the suggestion is these are the kind of things you work with as you do it. And of course, if you look at this, in many ways, these are kind of equivalent to the kind of things we do even in non-virtual teams. But with a virtual team, it even takes on additional issues, and there are some technical aspects to this too. People vote with their mouth. I think we've seen this a lot. I probably see this more with the old telephone conferencing. We have no idea if anybody's paying attention. And it's still true in our new web and video space. But, it's an interesting thing. Some people look at it as just people aren't paying attention, Let's make a rule. I don't think it's about the rule. It's saying, there's something probably wrong with our meeting if people are coming in and leaving. So here's, again, take a moment and think about specific meetings that you've had in our virtual world, telephone, web, whatever, and just kind of brainstorm together with your partner or your team and say, what are some of the things? And here's a few ideas that you might want to talk about. So pause it right now and come up with a few ideas. All right, so a couple of ideas here. Before, create the structure, make sure the pre-work. During, really focus on what we're doing in the moment. Make sure the ground rules are taken care of. Doing the check-in, that is great, and that's especially true. I think when we're crossing cultures, we often have a particular culture that might be a little bit more dominant, and the non-dominant members from the non-dominant culture will often feel overwhelmed and really not sure whether they're being welcomed to participate. So that's a really key factor. So so if you're coming from the dominant culture, make sure you solicit participation from those in the non-dominant culture. And if you're in the non-dominant culture, I think it's your responsibility to make sure you're being heard. And it could come, if you think about those some of the ideas coming from our generous and active listening, you can start behaving that way and modeling the behavior you would like to do. But you really do have to speak up. Certainly capturing ideas and then polling. And polling rather than the specific check-in, just doing it honestly. And then a lot of the online meeting tools allow you to do that idea. So for those people that might be a little bit reluctant to speak up on controversial issues, that polling idea, So let's do a quick poll on whether you think this approach is something we ought to continue going. So if there's someone in the meeting that everyone knows is particularly wedded to the idea, no one necessarily wants to speak up on the record, you can just say, let's do a poll. And then afterwards, gather the next steps, confirm the deliverables, and then do a learning. What worked well, what didn't work well. And again, these are classic things that we've always had for meetings, but now, with the virtual technical dimensions, it takes on perhaps an even greater importance for us. A few ideas. Again, think about this as something we're always supposed to do, but maybe the last idea sort of says it all. Listen carefully. And that does mean being quiet more than you're being vocal. And that runs counter maybe to a lot of ideas of what we think our leaders are supposed to do, dynamic, charismatic, dominating. Maybe that's not the only model. So, this is the end. I'm hoping you had a great week trying out these various ideas. So take a moment now and think about the insight you'll take away. How will you do some more experimentation over this week and throughout? How will you make sure you keep your commitment to yourself on the action? And then let's think about that and talk to each other next time.